There's a moment that ambulance drivers never talk about. It's not the rush of a call coming in, not the panic in a mother's voice on the phone, not the screaming of tires or the howl of sirens through the city. Those moments are expected, trained for, even strangely comforting in the routine chaos. The engine roars, lights flash, and there's clarity in the crisis. You know what you're supposed to do. There's no time to question, to feel, to doubt. You just move. But then after the patient's been handed off, after the stretchers are rolled away, after the adrenaline drains from your limbs and your heart pounds in your ears for all the wrong reasons, after the sirens go quiet, that's when it gets loud in your head. That's when the haunting begins. You sit in the cab of the ambulance, maybe next to your partner or maybe alone while they fill out paperwork inside the air. The street lamp flickers overhead, the heater clicks and hums, the radio crackles faintly, but no one is calling. No one is dying, no one is screaming, just silence. And in that silence, everything comes rushing back. You remember the look in a dying man's eyes as he realized he wasn't going to make it. You remember the way a child clutched your sleeve, trusting you completely. Just before their tiny body gave up. You remember a mother sobbing on the curb, begging you to try again when the machines had already flatlined. You remember the smell of blood, alcohol, smoke, urine and how it clings to you no matter how many showers you take. You remember how many names you never learned, and how many you wish you could forget. You don't talk about it. Not really. Sure, you crack jokes in the break room. You talk about traffic, bad coffee, the idiot who ran a red light. You joke because you have to. Because saying, I watched someone take their last breath today and I don't know if I can do it again tomorrow, doesn't land well over stale donuts. People assume you're tough, that you can handle it, that it doesn't get to you. You must see some crazy stuff, they say, like it's a thrill, like it's a movie. They don't realize you replay the same crazy stuff when you're trying to fall asleep. They don't realize you remember faces better than names, especially the faces of those you couldn't save. They think it's the noise of the sirens, the screams, the chaos that sticks with you. But it's not. It's the silence that follows. The silence of an empty ambulance after a failed resuscitation. The silence of your own home at 3 a.m. when the world is sleeping but your mind is wide awake. The silence in your partner's eyes when they can't bring themselves to talk about the last call. The silence after you've pulled into your driveway and sat there with the engine off, unable to open the door because you're still carrying the weight of someone else's worst day. In that silence, you're no longer a professional. You're no longer a paramedic or EMT or hero in a uniform. You're just a person who's seen too much, felt too much, and can't quite figure out how to put it down. Some try to cope with alcohol, others with dark humor, some with therapy, if they're lucky, some with nothing at all, just white-knuckling their way through shift after shift, pretending it doesn't chip away at them little by little. But it does, it always does. You start to measure your life in calls, not calendar days. You remember years by the tragedies they held. That was the summer of the apartment fire. That was the winter the boy drowned in the lake. That was the year we lost Davia, our own, not a patient. And yet, you keep going, not because you're numb, but because you care. Too much, maybe. Because you remember the ones you did save. The newborn who started crying just in time. The overdose you reversed. The car crash victim who gripped your hand and whispered thank you through broken teeth. Those moments say they're fewer, but they shine like stars in the black. You live for those stars, but even they can't always outshine the dark. So you drive on. You answer the next call. You push the pain aside again and again. You swallow the tears. You hold the hands of strangers and hope your presence makes even a sliver of difference. You listen. You care. You run toward the chaos while others run away. And then you sit in the silence once more, waiting, remembering, haunted not by what you heard, but by what you couldn't say, couldn't fix, couldn't undo. Because in that silence is where the horror lives, not in the gore or the blood, not in the broken bones or mangled wreckage, but in the helplessness, the finality, the weight of being the last voice someone hears, the last face they see, the last hope they have. So yes, the sirens are loud, but they're not the part that keeps you awake. It's the silence that follows them, that stillness after the storm, where the real noise begins.